Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, and welcome to today's Change Master Series, How to Lead Change and Enable AI Readiness in Your Workplace. My name is Catherine Tam Thillainathan. I am Prosci Advanced Instructor and Head of Consulting Advisory Services at Prosci Global Affiliates Change Accomplishments. This way. And I'm also very excited to have our speaker, Rebecca Hatten, Executive Director, Strategic Change and Digital Transformation, to spend the next 45 minutes with us today. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Catherine. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so today we're going to take a closer look in two parts about AI. Okay, the first is how change management, okay, or change practitioners supports change and leading change and enable AI readiness. And part two, how ourselves as a change practitioner gets better equipped for the new era of AI. So, but before we do that, I want to do a little bit of a housekeeping item. So first is since the webinar is only 45 minutes, so during your lunchtime, so we may not have enough time to answer all questions with our speaker. So please use the chat button in the Zoom environment to post any questions you have so we can answer and track them. Okay. And secondly, we are recording this session, and upon conclusion, you'll receive an email from Change Accomplishments with a link to the recording. So please keep an eye open for that after the call. Okay. So again, Rebecca, while we are waiting for people, maybe we have some kinds of warm up, and it's really nice to see you virtually while you're in Singapore and I'm in Hong Kong.
Absolutely.
Yes. So in fact, remember we actually known each other for a long time. So that's time we both work in Singapore for a firm together, and each of us actually is handling at least three different size of projects. And that's how we
They were
always
busy times, very busy times.
very busy time. We'll be always joking and saying that, oh, our CM's life is all about planning, making PowerPoints because people think that we're good at that, videos, all the rise up, and there's no other resources and budget for the team, right? So we actually also have no time or not enough time to talk to our key people. Of course, our stakeholders, our leadership is also busy and no time to talk to us as well. But yeah, we discuss a lot of things: sponsor resistance, resilience, and more importantly, how to help people manage the change all the time. So you are process certified, right?
I
Yay!
am.
Yeah. And in the room, who is process certified? Can you also give me a thumbs up or raise your hands virtually so we know? I think the few of you. Okay. Yes, Doris. Yes. Cleo. Matthew. Yes. Great. And I think Viola as well. Okay, so welcome to the ProSci family, because we have a lot of interesting and then advanced and innovation news we want to share with you. And also for those who are not yet, so please get yourself certified as soon as possible, and also get the amazing change management AI tools that I'm going to share with you shortly. All right, so let's get into the topic. So today we talk about AI, right? So same as other technology change, we all know AI and also machine learning is inevitable and has significant benefits to the both organizations and also ourselves individually in certain extent, right? However, we're also aware that AI is transforming the industries, the organizations, the jobs, and also people tasks, and that the way of people work. And that's what's the disruption people actually are having, if that's happened in the organization. So while there are technical concerns for AI, okay, that's being addressed by the projects or the technical team, ProSci research actually share with us that a couple of potential concerns or challenge that hinder and slow down people to adopt AI. And that is exactly our role as a change practitioner or managers to address and help people through the journey to adopt the AI swiftly, smoothly, and effectively. So can you all see my screen? See my slide out here? Yep, good. All right. So by best practice, and then we ProSci did it recently, and it share with us that there's a couple of things people concerned when they're adopting AI, which is our topic. How to bring AI readiness in our workplace, right? There be lack of understanding and fear. They also have concern about the AI governance, like in the evolution of the change practice, how we're going to manage change. Of course, security concerns, job displacements, loss of human touch, reliability, and accuracy. And in the meantime, we also know that when we talk about change, we want to drive people through the change journey, right? And Prosci also shared this with us. Okay, they actually did research for over 1,000 participants. Each of them, of course, as individuals, they have their own concerns about adopting AI. But you see, when they have, what is the barrier points where they stuck to not buy in or adopt AI yet? There's a different kind of levels or perspective. Maybe some people they're not aware, they don't understand why, right? Some people not desire because of certain of this kind of reason that we shared before. Maybe don't they have the knowledge, or maybe they don't have the ability as well. Um, and in here we can find that in fact awareness is still is the first barrier that keeps people from buying in and even willing to learn about AI, right? They don't actually may not really understand why they use AI, why not other technology, and why now. And that's why your role or our role as a change manager is so critical. Because for those who may be new to change management, on Prosci. I want to share a little bit of background if you what is Prosci. Prosci is a research organization. They did 25 years about change management practice. And it's shared in a whole overall 25 years research. We found that an excellent CM can achieve a 7 times success rate driving people adoption in most kind of the different kind of changes and uh, of course, when we talk about the AI, and then we also want to, we can have a success track record to bring people through on the journey, on schedule, and also the budget. So here, right to the point now. So the big question is, AI is so important, and but there's also disrupting and everyone individually have their own concern. So as an organization, is your organization preparing and equipping people effectively to adopt and use Gen AI okay, solutions, maximize the opportunities and against critical threats? Okay, so lucky we have Rebecca here to share some insight with us and prepare the case study with us about how to lead and enable readiness in your workplace. So Rebecca, I pass it over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Look, I will preface this by saying this is a really big topic, and we have, about half an hour to get through at least an overview. So we will absolutely just be scratching the surface of everything. But to introduce you guys to me, my background, I started out very much in the technology world. And what I found was that, over time, my interest was really in how people were interacting with that technology. And that ultimately led me moving much more into the change space, into organizational change. And I've now been working in that space for somewhere between 15 and 20 years, which makes me feel incredibly old. Um, but it's been great. And about 10 years ago, I got my Prosci certification, and I still really regularly, log into the Prosci portal. I'm utilizing the tools that are there. The data insights I'm finding are really valuable. For me, working in financial services, I have very much sort of data-driven leadership. So being able to draw on some of those insights and those sort of hard numbers is really valuable for me. I've also a Scrum practitioner, so I like very much working in that agile way. I do live in Singapore. You can hear my Australian accent and then look at me, and I'm actually mixed. My mum is Chinese, so I kind of grew up, very globally. And then, I think this photo just encapsulates, this is me just trying to do everything. This is me sitting by the side of the pool, trying to get my kids to a swim lesson, finish off a conference call, and trying to get my training in. Because on the side, I decided to throw in Ironman triathlons in my free time. So I am always needing more sleep, but I love what I do, and I'm loving this topic today. So I hope you enjoy it as well. So I suppose I'll start with this next slide, which just I'm just going to highlight some high level history here. Now, if any of you are as old as me, you will remember there was this time not long ago when big data was the hottest thing since sliced bread. Developers talked about it, managers wanted it. It was going to change the way everything worked. We're going to solve every financial, medical, scientific, social problem known to humankind. with a big pile of data. But somewhere along that line, that big data revolution kind of petered out. And today you don't really hear much about it. Saying big data is kind of dating yourself, when you open your mouth now. It followed that hype cycle. And it kind of resulted in a really healthy industry-wide change because we reached a point where shouting big data over and over again was no longer enough to get attention and funding. And I think we're starting to see the same with AI and Gen AI, right? People are shouting the words AI and hoping that'll kind of bring some funding for their project, bring some attention. But we need to actually really be doing something with that. So we are beginning to see technology move from interpreting the data and using the inputs that we have to generating new ideas and content from these inputs in a more and more human way. So that's that move from big data to true AI. Our next slide is a really great graphic there from the IMF. But I mean, in summary, AI is one of these biggest changes for the workplace since the Industrial Revolution in many ways. So, in the financial services industry alone, the adoption of AI and other big data technologies is estimated to lead to around a 5% decline in the labor share of income. But I will say AI's rise isn't necessarily synonymous with job losses. We're going to see new roles, industries expected to emerge. Early evidence suggests that AI can, of course, boost our worker productivity. And people will have the opportunity to add a lot to their income by gaining these AI skills. We'd see generative AI enhancing the way STEM, creative, business and legal professionals are working. Of course, there are likely effects on other job categories around office support, customer service, etc. And you may see some declines there. So I suppose in summary, there's going to be some wins and losses from this. So how do we find those wins, avoid those losses? And if we go to the next slide, I suppose I just want to start looking at some really high-level strategies around that. How do we move our people's mindsets from being fearful of AI to being excited about the opportunities it will bring? So I suppose, like the shift to flexible work, priming an organization to embrace AI will hinge first and foremost on building the right culture on a foundation of trust rather than fear. Of course, we all know we're all change practitioners or have been involved in change projects. Fear is like the standard reaction to change. So it's understandable for our employees to feel some uncertainty about what AI is going to mean for their work. Some of the research has said that around 50% of people are really concerned that AI is going to replace their jobs. But at the same time, 70% of employees are more than willing to delegate to AI to lighten their workloads. Hands up if you sneakily use ChatGPT to help write some comms. We've all done that. We're all using it, right? And as the pace and volume of work is increasing, we're all struggling under the weight of our loads. So ultimately, leaders and employees do have an eagerness for AI to help lift some of that burden. Becoming an AI-powered organization is going to require all of our workplaces to work in new ways. So what we need to do, I'm sort of proposing 3 steps that we can take. First is choosing curiosity over fear. So until now, the way we've interacted with technology has been similar to how we might interact with a calculator. We ask a question, we give directions, the computer provides an answer. But with AI, the computer becomes much more of a copilot. We're developing new kinds of chemistry together. We're learning when and how to ask questions. How do we fact check responses? So we need to be encouraging our employees to put curiosity into action by experimenting safely and securely with AI tools, using things like search, intelligent writing assistants, smart calendaring. And there is inherent, I don't know if there are people here that are kind of from the IT world. There's obviously, this whole other conversation around security and, data privacy. I'm not going to go down that path today, but we're going to have to take some risks to open up to these tools quickly, provide safe environments for people to use them. So every role and function is going to have different ways to use and benefit from AI, but we need to challenge people to rethink how can AI improve or transform the processes that we have as you get more and more familiar with these tools. And then our employees can begin to unlock new ways of working. Secondly, we need to be supporting experimentation and fast failure. So adopting that test and learn strategy to find ways that AI tools can help meet the needs of our organizations. We need to be creating the right environment for failure so our people are empowered to experiment. And in my experience, that includes celebrating wins as well as sharing lessons learned. So we need to make sure that we're not kind of having to learn the same lessons twice. So formally and informally, we need to be carving out spaces for people to share knowledge. So we've been doing some pieces where we are crowdsourcing prompt guidebooks, within our departments, making AI tips a standing agenda item in some of our kind of monthly team meetings. Operating with that agility is going to be a really foundational tenet of AI-powered organizations. Thirdly, we need to really be building this question mentality, because the value from AI is only as good as what you put in. So simple questions are going to result in simple answers. Sophisticated, thought-provoking questions will result in more complex analysis and bigger ideas. The value will shift from employees who have all the right answers to employees who know how to ask the right questions. So organizations of the future are going to place a premium on analytical thinkers and problem solvers who can really reason over AI-generated content. We need to build a learn-it-all culture rather than a know-it-all culture. So learning to work with AI is going to be a continuous process. It's not a one-time training. It's something that needs to be infused into the rhythm of business. We need to be keeping our employees up to date with all the latest resources, blocking off Friday afternoons for some learning, arranging specific peer-to-peer learning opportunities, using our digital sharing platforms, and really embracing kind of collaborative learning in our workplaces. Okay, our next slide. Somebody said something, or I heard something once, which I thought was really powerful, which is that AI is 50% about the technology and 50% about teaching humans how to recognize and use that AI technology. Gen AI is already creating demand for a new set of skills. So, we've got data engineering, prompt engineering, coding. They're obviously skills that are already in demand. But at the same time, critical thinking, creativity, flexibility, the ability to work in teams is super valuable and becoming more and more so, because as the technical skills, the administrative tasks are being absorbed by our AI tools, that's the differentiator. That's what's going to make us human. That is going to be what makes our people truly valuable. So we need to be recognizing the need for both these hard skills in our workforces, but also those soft skills. And assessing those skills is going to be really key to understand your current talent landscapes. And those targeted learning programs will need to be developed to fill those gaps. We have a really big emphasis at the moment with SCB on a skills-based organization. And those skills are not just those hard skills, but more and more so focusing on what I like to call those soft skills, which ironically, I always think are actually the hardest. Learning is going to have to be a strategic priority, or ultimately the organization is going to get behind. We're going to have more demand for a lot of these skills than we have supply, until we kind of catch up on that lag. And what you're going to see is that the learning side of your organization is going to have to really work closely with our talent teams to create this dual-sided approach to bringing in the right people, upskilling our existing people, and cross-pollinating learning and knowledge, as we go through this transformation journey. All right, I'll jump into a little bit of a case study, and I know these are always a little bit tricky and can be a bit dry. Unfortunately, I work in kind of the risk and compliance space of the bank, which is not the sexiest part, but we have done some really cool stuff lately. We have implemented a platform called Ask Compliance and Risk, which is essentially a one-stop online platform to develop self-service and seamless connectivity to the right advice for risk and compliance queries. So our focus is really on using data and technology to provide a better service to our customers. And we are using a bunch of machine learning insights, utilizing the data that we're getting from there to help kind of continuously build the automated response capability within the tool, with the goal of ultimately, reducing the need for that human kind of intervention in the query process. So essentially, it's a data-enabled tool and chatbot that enables our bank staff to input risk and compliance queries on a 24/7 basis. They get an answer instantaneously, or it seamlessly routes them to the right person in the organization to be able to solve their query. We've reached a point now where about 70% of our queries are answered within 2 days. And I can't give you a fantastic benchmark of where we were before, because of course we didn't have that data available. Anecdotally, it was taking around a week, but other queries were getting lost in the system. Some maybe were getting resolved really quickly. we didn't even have those insights available to us, and now we're starting to build that database and that data in the background. So we'll be able to provide more and more insights into what type of queries are coming through. So I suppose from a change side of things, we had a few different challenges. On our advisor side, once this was announced, we started building this out. There was definitely a fear of those job losses. There was definitely a fear of having to use new tools and reskilling. So what we did is we identified a core group of key users. They were identified to be very closely involved in the design, build, and testing of the solution. And that enabled us to kind of not just have those insights from our staff, but they then became a two-way communication channel out to the business, out to their peers. So we were able to, allay the fears, provide a direct channel on a peer-to-peer level, not just the kind of classic leadership level messaging coming down. We then built curiosity by driving an initial pilot rollout involving around 300 end users or sort of customers out in the business. And that provided the opportunity for our risk and compliance staff to see how the tool enabled them to move from being just a triage or transactional role to being much more of a complex strategic advisor. So it gave them the opportunity to understand the value of AI and this technology and the machine learning and the data that we had behind this and say, okay, yeah, this is actually a really good opportunity. This is giving me the opportunity to elevate my role, become a really truly strategic advisor, deal with the complex cases and leave the really simplistic stuff to the machines. We gathered feedback and we're implementing improvements on a quarterly basis. So we had really rapid, continuous improvement through the tool. We drove out our success stories to our wider audiences, and we built a bunch of sneak peek videos for people to be able to tangibly see how this cool new tool could benefit them. So curiosity tick. We absolutely were supporting experimentation and fast failure. This is a challenging one. There was a big emphasis on taking an agile approach, which can be a challenging mindset for some of our leaders, and particularly when you work in that sort of risk space. Ironically, people who work in risk are often the most risk averse people that you've ever seen. But we were able to kind of push through this approach of, let's take a pilot approach to the rollout. Let's support a continuous build, test, release, reflect strategy in the tool. Again, continuously building that trust, building that understanding of how to utilize this new kind of fancy pants technology. We also helped to build a question mentality by investing a significant amount of time in collaborative learning opportunities. Lots of drop-in sessions, lunch and learn sessions, and ask me anything style forums. Encourage that question mentality, open the conversations between project teams, leaders, end users, and customers. So currently we're seeing a 100% growth quarter on quarter in regards to the number of queries through this platform. And that data captured is providing us with real insights, which enable us to be more proactive in the way that we manage risks going forward. So as an example, we saw a spike in queries around sanctions. And because we have that data available to us, our kind of AI tools were able to recognize that there was particular queries around sanctions. So we were able to identify a particular training need out into our end users. We built out the training, we addressed that. We saw a 30% drop off in queries in relation to this topic within 3 months. So really great success story, and how we can use these data insights and use these tools to actually improve the platform and improve our overall experience for our customers. As we build up a bigger base of data, we are implementing further machine learning capability that will support our advisors to better respond to queries. We'll provide the advisors with more rapid access to the right policies and process to ultimately inform their strategic advice. So, we're starting to see some real excitement. This is one of those really good success stories within the bank. And I think it's only going to continue to grow more. I would argue it's probably much more in the kind of machine learning, large language model. It's not into true generative AI yet. But I have confidence that we're going to get there. We're going to build that out soon. So that's kind of the story of AI in a good sort of 20 minutes.
Well, I like it. I really like this story, and then it is very, very kind of insightful and then empowering, because it's really kind of helping people to moving their mindset, from operation role to a strategic role. I particularly like actually is these slides. about change mindset and build trust. Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone agree with me, because um, when we do projects, right, no matter throughout the years we do transformation or system or process, even about culture change, we hear lots of comments from our stakeholders, from our leaders, from our people managers. So it actually talk about the fundamental change actually required is about the mindset. And that's I really agree with that. And then to build trust as well, right? So I study in neuroscience, and then when we try to get people through the journey, and then in the decision making process we want people to buy in and so, right, actually is starting with the information that we get, and then how we see and value those informations depends on who we hear from, and also are those information are clear and accurate, right, and do we trust the source. That actually requires a lot of people engagement, and I think that communication works. So here I want to share a little bit with you, is that about how actually AIs can help us to spare our time, to free up our time, to so we can do something that we find more valuable. So this is something that I believe, I think personally AI won't replace humans in this point of time. Okay, because changing mindset, right, happens by getting individuals, there's a lot in your organizations, their attention to the information highly relevant to them, which is actually a lot in organization, and most importantly from the sources they trust. Okay, so if we want to drive the change mindset, we need to have these important elements there, and that makes the people engagement irreplaceable, and can also make us more strategic as well. In here, I also want to share some best practice with you about how the change practitioners, your colleagues, your peers, using AI tools and technologies. Okay. Best practice that is share with us that um, peoples that we use as what Rebecca mentioned, we use GPT, right? So communication support. They will use this for content creation, strategy and planning, automation and efficiency, stakeholder engagement, and also data analysis as well. And they also share with us that wow, after they using this technology, they 90% find that they save their time, and 85% actually focus on the most important works that they're doing. So yeah, so it's really about helping us, in certain extent. It depends on how we see. So how about Rebecca? Any AI tool actually you're using these days?
I'm glad you asked me because here's a few that I've used. So definitely in the comms and engagement space is probably the biggest one, but I've got a list of a few tools that I've played with or utilized along the way here. So, obviously everybody can kind of go back and have a bit of a look at this later. Um, Qualtrics is a really good one. This is a tool you can use to gather feedback and insights from employees. One of the big things with generative AI, and I think one of the big powers that's going to come from it from the future, is tools like this, which essentially will be able to understand the change readiness of our organization and or how people are reacting to change, through surveys, pulse checks, open-ended questions, you know and really building on that data to identify employees behaviors and attitudes towards change, and ultimately provide those predictive kind of insights into what may happen if you don't address certain hotspots within that maturity. So, that will ultimately surface potential resistance to change before it can derail things, rather than sort of trying to do a little bit of guesswork, which is kind of what we do sometimes. We have to draw on our experience, and, absolutely we have some great insights and data. But, I think tools like Qualtrics is going to provide a really good opportunity to do that. Um, Synthesia is a really kind of fun one, to be honest. And while nothing will ever replace the power of having, a leader up there providing a message via video to our end users, Synthesia is a really cool tool, which is an AI-powered video generation tool. So you can create realistic videos featuring these AI-generated human avatars. You provide a script, and it will essentially you can choose your person and they will deliver that script. You can choose your background, the sort of style that you're doing it. And this has been really useful for just those like little bite-sized comms and learning and performance support materials, because you don't need to try and coordinate a million people's calendars and video crews, and it saves you a whole bunch of money as well. So absolutely recommend that one. That's a really fun one. Beekeepers is a really cool platform that uses real-time messaging, task management, and employee engagement features. So it's much more of a kind of a collaborative communications platform. And similarly, Culture Amp is another kind of engagement and pulse survey tool. So again, with a lot of these tools, it's not necessarily the actual functionality of the tool itself, but then the data insights and the generative ideas that come from them. So that's just a few that are probably worth exploring as change practitioners. And then, yeah, I mean, at the simplest form, using Microsoft Copilot. Like if you do have that available to you, if you're lucky enough to have that available to you in your organization, keep playing, keep experimenting, be curious, right? And encourage your teams to be curious with it. It can be used for so much more than just, I don't know, coming up with a list of team names for your next team event. Um, using it to kind of begin that conversation. There's capability now to start building slides, from your notes. So, kind of builds the PowerPoint presentation for you. Also really powerful for, taking your teams meetings. If you, again, this is all depends on what you've got available to you within the organization, but Copilot will write the minutes of the meeting for you. It will summarize your key points. It'll bring everything to you. So again, going back to this idea that, this provides this opportunity to take away a lot of that kind of grunt work and give the opportunity to kind of go beyond and really be that strategic advisor. But I also know Prosci Kaya is coming, and I'm super excited about that. And Catherine's going to show us, and I'm pumped. Let's go.
Yes, yes, yeah. I'm really, really excited about Kaya, and this is I'm going to introduce you all about Kaya, which is a Prosci expert CM assistance for you. So I personally highly recommend because all our projects has tight budget, right? And then we don't have actually enough resources to do all the hard work and crunch work, right? So the Prosci Kaya basically will able to wave this AI assistance into the way people apply change management and support the adoption and the usage of the changes going on in your organization. So imagine, so with the AI, right, the Chat GPT function and so, what makes Kaya special is, on top of it can brings you can turn a 2 hour working session into a 10 minutes task. Imagine all the drafting, your speech, even your change management plans. You want to prepare the communication video script. You want to prepare the archive survey or readiness survey, or do some research or best practice research for your recommendation to your stakeholders and to your leaders. This time is free up to you. It's a real people side work, so that for me, I will use that time to prepare and equip my leaders, okay, and my managers to really drive change with me together. Because by best practice, they are the most effective people that people want to listen to, and listen to in order to adopt the change. Why would you change? And then get them to desire to buy in and then go into the meeting, to the training, etc. So then you can also spend more time in the strategic to drive adoption and build the change capability easy faster as well. So Kaya have a very credible source because all the data is different from what we saw in Google and in the outside. It's all the data based on the precise 25 years research findings. So which means all the recommendation all the content generates, the data, etc., is very efficient and also specialized in change management. It's also integrated with the global recognized methodology. We're talking about how to bring people through the journey, right? Are they understand? Are they buy in? Do they, get trained? Do they have ability, etc.? And all the information actually, and all the even your change management plans. You want to address certain change journey, the barrier points, and you can actually write in the Kaya and ask it, and then they will give you a plan. Okay, you can ask for high level plans, you can ask for detailed plans. It depends on actually how you experience with Kaya as well. Okay, we talk about you are not alone. You shouldn't be the only one to drive change in organization. You need to work with a team, your leaders and the people managers, right? All the change agents, etc. together, right? To drive, 50,000 or even 1,000 project change. All the recommendation you can find, the plans and everything that you can can get support from Kaya. So let me share with you how Kaya's looks like. Okay, is everyone excited? Okay, can you all see my screen? Is this a Kaya screen or not yet? There we go. Can you all see my screen good? Okay. So Kaya, in fact, is based on sitting in our Prosci portal. Okay, so you can get access with that as well. So again, as a change practitioner or even your leaders, you are a sponsor or your project managers, you can also ask Kaya questions about how to bring your resisting, stakeholders, to get them buy in. So let me give you an example. For example, I say already draft the questions. I am working global, let's see, put it this way. Okay, my question is in here. I have a send a message here. So my question is, I am working in a global insurance company. I think some of you do. I would like to prepare 3 minutes videos for the CEO sharing why we need to use AI, okay, in operations department to support our customer better, okay, and is what kind of support we require from our staff, from our people to get ready, okay. So you can ask as specific as you want, and then magic. Dun, 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 dun. So like ChatGPT, but everything here is based on best practice, okay? It's global recognized. So you can take it as I think it's a really kind of a good draft because it's cover 3 minutes, okay? Some kind of a key points, open with a hook or purpose. I talk about why AI in operations in the insurance company, right? As much as the information I gave Kaya, then he can actually take out the relevance data as well. For example, enhance efficiency, improve customer experience. That's what I want to drive, right? Better customer support, data-driven decision. Okay, my another question is what kind of support I need from my people? Okay, adoption, come to the training. Come on, you really need to learn, right? Don't spend your time on training, okay, and then we experiment that. Collaboration and feedback. And then, of course, there's call to action, engage, inspire, vision for the future. So this is some of the notes. In fact, the another things that I like it most is here because they will be immediately linked to any ProSci blog or the best practice or the research hubs that you have. For example, there's one blog talk about AI in change management. So if you want to get more information, then you can just click the link and they will directly direct you to the right post. Yeah. For example, and I want to say, maybe the next questions is, how about what are the other, one what are the three key takeaways to lead and enable AI readiness in a competitive banking environment? Okay, let's do that. I click it, another magic. Okay, rolling, rolling, rolling. Okay. So, for example, align in the initiative with business goals. The culture is so important because we really want everyone to have the same vision and have the same language, right? For continuous learning, that is what Rebecca just mentioned, and adaptability, and of course, strengthen the change management capabilities as well, right? Then, if you want to ask further questions about how we're going to strengthen change management capabilities, then you can also maybe what is this change maybe the change management plan to advance the capability. So if anyone have any questions or you want to try on here, feel free to let me know. The CM capability. Okay, there's a very short question. So let's see what kind of overall high level plans they give us. Hmm. Well, short questions give us lots of information to dive in, right? Assess the current state, define future states, what are the change impact, define the roadmap, etc. So if you want more details, then is it like a conversation you ask more in dialogue as well? All right, everyone's get excited about the Kaya. So we can do a free demo to you, one-on-one with anyone from your team if they're interested, because it can really save your time drafting all the emails, videos, and then the presentations, even the archive survey and etc. All right. So at the end, there's a 5 minutes left. I just want to check. Um, Before we go to the wrap up, anyone would like to have any questions would like to ask our speakers based on what we have um, today, what we discussed today? Not sure if everyone's actually having enjoying the lunch while they are watching our webinar.
Maybe, maybe.
Okay. So no problem if you can't think of anything at the moment. No problem because I know there's a lots of insights that we share with you today. If you want to process anything, any questions later on, feel free to drop us an email. So we're always happy, to have a chat with you as well. And then of course, recordings is coming to you. You can also replay back a couple of times and also share with your colleagues if you want. All right. So we shared a lot. We also want to stay connect with you. So this is our change accomplishments link in QR code. Please feel free to kind of scan it, and then we will keep. Then we can update you our latest, webinars and news and technology as soon as we can. And also we have the learning opportunity coming. If you want to get yourself the global methodology with all the tools and templates and the right concept, the effective way to drive change management and also get your teams embraced together. So there's 3 certificates program in person available. So you can scan the QR code and also you can also enjoy the early bird in here if you join us via this webinar. And last but not the least, your feedback is really valuable to us. I really appreciate that. You can leave us your feedback by scanning this QR code and see what kind of a topics you want us to cover next time. If you want to have a demo, you want to have a call, feel free to let us know.
Forgive me, Catherine. I'm not seeing a QR code. Where would I see that?
Am I sharing screen?
We're seeing your video. I'm not
Yes,
seeing a shared screen.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, Simon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
now it's
Wonderful.
So this is the feedback code, QR code. All right, everybody scan it all right? And if anyone's also interested to get the early bird discount, I can put it back to the previous slide. Yeah, this is good. There you go. And then check it out for our LinkedIn, get the most updated information and also some good news and good and cool news, things as well about change management. Yay! And thank you so much, Rebecca. I really like your presentation and your story. I really learned a lot. And our chat, both our participant also said that wow, this a short 20 minutes story with so many valuable tips. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's a great topic and I really enjoyed having a chat about it. So, next time I am up your way, let's grab a coffee and continue the conversation.
Yes, I really hope to see you soon in person.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.